So as you see on the screen, I have reported Robert H. Vaping Minuteman to the FDA in regards to him being a manufacturer / retailer without an FDA marketing order in regards to his do-it-yourself e-liquid. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go to the video I about 2 days ago I uploaded onto this channel called Food and Drug Administration Complaint. So I decided, in order to expedite this particular complaint, instead of mailing it certified and going through the whole thing, because it takes a little bit more time by the time they receive it, get it, delivered to them through the mail room and all that, I thought, well, let me do it this way. And I provided information in the complaint, and then you can do attachments on the Food and Drug Administration's website. So then I included the FDA complaint that you see on the YouTube channel, except of course I filled in all the blanks that states left blank intentionally for YouTube. I filled in all the proper legal identifiable information in regards to Vaping Minuteman. Also included as an attachment, I included the financial transactions that, because you can find that on your Facebook page in the payment history, of all the transactions that I had with the Vaping Minuteman in regards to these e-liquids that he's sent me. He also sent me free samples included inside of the package. So it shows all the financial transactions, plus it shows the payment ID number that can be. The Food and Drug Administration, especially the Center for Tobacco Products, has power to actually retrieve further information via the payment ID number through Facebook. They have the power to receive any information, especially when they're going through an investigation. Facebook would have to give that particular information to the FDA. It remains on the servers regardless if Vaping Minuteman decides to delete it from his Facebook page. And then I also included as an attachment the Tara Gooden email that I received back in 2016 in regards to personal consumption, in regards to do-it-yourself. E-liquids are illegal, but once you sell it to anyone, then you automatically become a manufacturer / retailer under the Food and Drug Administration's laws or regulations or rules. So I sent it through an email, and it says a potential tobacco violation report ID 19E00163 received. Was received at the CTP compliance at fda.hhs.gov. And that's Food and Drug Administration and Health and Human Services Department of the United States United States Health and Human Services Department, and of course governmental email. And it was at 11:16 a.m. today, and then it's 2, and it's my email, which I use exclusively for these types of complaints. I won't show you that. Anyway, it says, thank you for providing this information to the Food and Drug Administration, Center for Tobacco Products. We take such reports seriously, and we will evaluate this matter to determine what follow-up action, if any, is appropriate. While FDA does not provide information regarding ongoing investigations, information can be obtained pursuant to a Freedom of Information Act request once an investigation is closed. Written requests for information should reference 19E00163 be sent to the following address, and you see it on the screen. You cannot, Vaping Minuteman may try to retrieve the information, but he will be unable to do so until the investigation is closed, and then he can retrieve it. Of course, by that time, the FDA would have done their investigation and would have probably knocked on his front door or sent him an FDA warning letter, because they do have his full address. Of course, maybe Vaping Minuteman in the next week or the next month will be moving from his location. And if there's any information that is updated as far as the databases that I go to in regards to Vaping Minuteman's locations, I will update this complaint and send it to the Fda Ctp. So I will be keeping an eye on Vaping Minuteman's locations. I have many tools in my toolbox, and I will do what I need to be done. But we'll see what happens. You never know about Vaping Minuteman. He's a bit of a sneaky little guy. Let's see how he gets around the federal statutes with the Food and Drug Administration's Center for Tobacco Products. You know, I should have done this months ago, and I never did. I always put it off. And then when it was prompted by one of my subscribers, I thought, you know, let me think about it. I thought about it for about a half an hour and then decided to do it. It didn't take me very long to think about it. It should have been done some time ago. This is a very important issue because, and I also included the link, and even if he deletes the video, it doesn't matter, off his YouTube channel, because I had the verbatim, the open transcript, and I put that into the FDA complaint, where he says he actually sells his e-liquid, but he denotes it as a donation when in fact it is not. I also show, of course, in the FDA complaint that you saw 2 days ago, if you watched it, yeah, Food and Drug Administration complaint in regards to Vaping Minuteman. It shows the long list of his e-liquids that he puts together to sell, and then at the bottom it says how much money and that it's a donation when in fact it is not a donation. For one thing, he is not a not-for-profit organization. And even if he were, he still doesn't have an FDA marketing order on these particular products. You cannot sell any of your e-liquid even for a penny. Not even a penny. Yes, not even a penny. And he's made about I'd say about $200 to $300 through transactions with me. About that. About 200, around there. I didn't really add it up. It's about that. And over a short period of time, it was like a month or two. The Food and Drug Administration isn't so much concerned even about the money that he made, though, of course, that counts against him. But they are definitely concerned about it being made in an unsanitary manner, which makes it adulterated product, as well as misbranding as well, of course. But definitely an adulterated product that's being made in his private residence and being sold. Regardless if you sell it to your friends, regardless if you sell it to someone off of YouTube, it does not matter. Does not matter. You're automatically a manufacturer retailer, and you're making your e-liquids in an unsanitary room or whatever have you. There's even a quote in the verbatim that I put down word for word in case he deletes the video, where he says something about the bathroom or something about something burnt or any of that in regards to some bottles or something he was doing. This is not good. And that is what the Fda Ctp especially will be quite interested in. In fact, let me find that verbatim and read it to you. So regardless if he deletes this particular link or the entire video off his website, not website, but off his YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it says April 2nd, 2019, time to DIY with Professor Minuteman. And it has times and everything. It says, I haven't made any e-liquid since then. I'll check my bathroom. Bathroom is not a good thing to say. You're doing e-liquid and you're selling it. And then he says, I burnt the e-liquid. Yes, I did. I left that sucker on for at least a day by accident. This is what happened to my bottle. I've got to take this, and I've got to really scrubbing out because it is bad. I literally came in here, and I saw that top popped up, and I was like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe I did that. Regardless if that had to do with an actual e-liquid that he was selling for monetary value, it shows that inside of his personal residence that it is illegal. You understand? It's showing it's unsanitary. Who knows what's going on in his particular place of residence when he's making e-liquids for individuals that he's selling to. And says, if you see my list of what if I mean, technically I have that I could sell. I have 20 that I could sell. And what he meant by, I don't know exactly what he meant by 20, but anyway, he says sell. Sell is that piques the interest of the FDA, CTP. Says, he goes on to say, I'm trying to follow the FDA. I don't believe in creating a new recipe every day and selling them here in America. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I might sell one here on the side to a friend for a donation, but I'm not selling it. They're donating money to it. That is not going to cut it. Donating, no. You could call it whatever you like. Charity, whatever. No. You're accepting money for your own personal gain. Understand? Period. Regardless of why you're taking the money, it doesn't matter. This here, selling them here in America. Holy crap. I mean, you can't incriminate yourself any more than that one little line. It's one thing you could say, well, I was in Japan when I was selling it, but you're actually selling them here in America. This one video, this verbatim account here is just over the top. And the FDA CTP will be very much interested in this. And they're going to do an investigation on him. And hopefully, after the investigation, and after they penalize him monetarily, and they'll shut him down as far as that's concerned, but especially monetarily, he won't be able to make any more money like this. He'll learn from this and never do it again. Yeah, or at least not talk about it. But what usually happens with the federal government is they will keep a close eye on anything, any kind of activity he does. And the funny thing about this is not only does the Food and Drug Administration or the Center for Tobacco Products or the Center for Tobacco Products kick into place, but also the United States Department of Justice, because you are handling these e-liquids. It's one thing, let's say, you go to your friend, and that's your next door neighbor or whatever, somewhere in the town or whatever, and you hand that e-liquid bottle to that particular person and you get money in return. That's illegal. Of course it's illegal. It's against the Food and Drug Administration, Center for Tobacco Products statutes, federal statutes. But it's a whole other ballgame when you send these e-liquids for profit without an FDA marketing order to whoever through the mail systems, through the United States Postal Service, priority mail. You're sending these particular products through the mail system, through the interstate commerce. And that right there is where the United States Department of Justice will kick into place, as well as possibly even the United States Postal Service, the Inspector General as well. And they're e-liquids, and to a degree, that's even prohibited by the mail system, USPS. But the main thing is you're selling an illegal product through the mail system, through the United States Postal System, interstate commerce. And that's when the United States Department of Justice kicks into place. And not only is there monetary penalties, but also criminal prosecution. Now, will they criminally prosecute him? It's on the very low end. Depends on how he obstructs the justice. In other words, let's say the United States Department of Justice decides to go file an investigation, and they go through an investigation. And, you know, if anyone knows Vaping Minuteman, he likes to twist things around and embellish and do all kinds of sneaky crap, right? Well, if he does that with the United States Department of Justice, they'll nail him just on that for obstruction of justice, for the due process. He cannot lie to the United States Department of Justice. He's going to get himself in a lot of doo-doo problems. Like I said in the Food and Drug Administration complaint video, my only suggestion for Vaping Minuteman is to immediately keep your mouth shut. This is the first time you should keep your mouth shut and call an attorney, or call legal aid services if you can't afford an attorney, before you incriminate yourself even more. I mean, there's enough evidence right here to nail your ass left and right, up and down and all around. But you don't want to incriminate yourself any more than you have in regards to this particular complaint and its attachments. You know, it's one thing to do all this stuff on YouTube, but this is real. This is reality. See, YouTube is like somewhat of reality. You can be very informative, like I do on my channel. You can be very informative about the Food and Drug Administration, Center for Tobacco Products, you know, Consumer Product Safety Commission, Federal Trade Commission, all this stuff, you know. Talk about case law and et cetera, on down the line, which is real, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't affect AFFECT, it doesn't affect your liberties or your personality or your pursuit of happiness. When you send these complaints to the FDA, they have a legal duty to actually refer to the United States Department of Justice if need be. And this is where they can strip you of your liberties, meaning put you in jail or prison, and most likely fine you, or take money from your personality, or that is your pursuit of happiness. They'll fine you, and they will shut down whatever you're doing. They will prohibit that, if need be, even through an administrative law judge, through the Administrative Procedures Act. That's why I'd suggest you get an attorney as soon as you get any kind of warning letter from the FDA, let alone a knock on the door. I also gave the Food and Drug Administration Center for Tobacco Products, not only did I give them Vaping Minuteman's private address, but I also gave where he works at. I know exactly where he works at. I know exactly his scheduling, and I also know his employer, and I also know that his employer name, and I also know, in fact, yeah, well, we don't have to go into the W-2, but we'll leave that alone. So there's no way around it unless he moves to another state. And like I said, I will keep up on all that. I have lots of tools at my disposal. You guys are funny. You know, you guys, someone stated, I think it was James Rain that stated in a comment, oh, you know, you don't pay your federal income tax and, you know, whatever, you know. Well, you know, I've been saying, I said it in live chats, it's still on this channel, it's nothing to hide. By all means, report me to the Internal Revenue Service, by all means. But the funny thing about that, and like the comment that I left for James Rain is this, and this is a direct quote. This is my own comment to James Rain. I stated, quote, apparently you've no idea about my relationship with certain parts of the federal government, unquote. So you could do that all you like with the IRS or whatever comes to mind. You know, my past, you know, the child and all, you knock yourself out. Just be aware that when you do, that you will have the Federal Bureau of Investigations up your wazoo. They will follow you the rest of your life. You will be on their radar screen. Guaranteed 110% across the board. The FBI will look at me and say, pass up on that. But wait, hold it here. Who is this person reporting this particular person? Oh, okay. And they will follow your ass the rest of your life. You will be on their radar the rest of your life. I won't tell you how. I won't tell you when. I won't tell you why. That I know this, but I do know this. You could take it with whatever grain of salt you may dig up from the sea. It does not matter. Once again, quote, apparently, you've no idea about my relationship with certain parts of the federal government, unquote. I'm going to leave it at that. You could read into that. You could say he's just being delusionary. He's just puffing himself up to be more than he is. He's trying to be a big shot or whatever. Whatever comes to your mind, you may believe it all you like. But like I've said in the live chat text, I've said in several times in other videos on this channel, as well as my other channels, you are more than welcome to report me to federal, state, and local governments. By all means do. But the repercussions from that is just incredible. And if you can live with those repercussions, that's not coming from me, but coming from the federal, state, and local governments, by all means, if you can live with the repercussions that will come from that, then by all means, report me. No sweat, no skin off my back, so to speak. You know, it's funny. I should have done this with Vaping Minutemen months ago. Yes, absolutely. I should have done this months ago, but I always put it off. I don't. I've even back in months ago, I felt and I believed and I knew that I was really obligated to do so, but I never did. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I let them off the hook. I let them off the hook. Is what I did. I thought, well, maybe I'll just do the what every American vapor ought to know. Will you wind up on the channel Water 2019 or whatever the hell have you? But when that subscriber stated what he stated, and then I figured, you know, I told him, let me think about this, and I thought about a half an hour, and then I put it together. It should have been put out to the Fda Ctp while back. And any of you guys out there, Mike Vapes is next up on the baseline, I guess. He's up to bat next. And I will report him with no problem, just like I reported him the last time. the atmosphere that we're in 2019 is much different than the atmosphere that was at the time that I was doing those reports back in 2000, or the complaints back in 2017, especially under former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb. In fact, the liaisons, there's two of them, by the way, won't say who, what, where, whatever, even stated that their hands were tied because of Gottlieb. But now that Gottlieb's out of the picture, it'd be much different to handle these situations. And the atmosphere these days is much more different than it was back in 2017. And these complaints are acted upon much quicker, much thoroughly, and much more seriously, and not put aside, as opposed to a lot of complaints that have been sent to the FDA, not only by myself, but by many others, that have been put to the side because of Gottlieb, because he dragged his feet so many times. Oh, not just complaints, but on everything, as anyone can see. As I've always said, you will be thankful that you had Gottlieb. You're going to wish you had him, because you always drag things along. Well, the atmosphere is much differently now, especially with the 2019 National Youth Tobacco Surveys about to come out. It's going to show those numbers just through the ceiling. They want sky rocket, even higher, much, much higher than the 2018 National Youth Tobacco Survey. So, anyway, hopefully, Vaping Minuteman or Robert H. will not do this anymore. And now it'll be left up to the Food and Drug Administration Center for Tobacco Products, and even possibly the United States Department of Justice, to handle him. And anything he puts up on his YouTube channel, I can handle, no problem. If need be, he'll wind up in what every American vapor ought to know, or if it's really bad information he puts out, there's just too much of it, then he winds up in the series Will You Wind Up on This Channel? Award of 2019. And on that point, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.